Wow. So this chapter of Attack on Titan has me right now like, what? I'm sure a lot of people gotta be feeling like me right now. You gotta be feeling it like, what the fuck is going on? The last chapter that we ended off with Attack on Titan, our crew had finally met the ocean. They reached the ocean and we had a 1-year time skip. So that's initially where all of us are assuming we're going to take off from with this chapter, right? But this chapter totally throws everything completely out of whack, and it's just kind of like, yeah, here's some new characters. What? Now to throw some analysis into this, because to be honest with you, I really been just looking at these pages nonstop, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Seemingly, this is taking place 3 years after that time skip that we had, because there was mentions of 4 years ago is where all this started, and it seems as though the people that are fighting is one group that we've never even heard of. So there's multiple groups around the world. It's not just, you know, the Elodians and the Marley or whatever. There's multiple different groups, and it seems as though the group that Reiner and the Beast Titan and Bertolt all come from are fighting against another group, and it seems as though those people in particular are trying to show their worth so that they can obtain the powers, because potentially, definitely it was confirmed in this one that they're trying to get the armored power. They're trying to prove themselves so that they can get that power. So pretty much, I'm assuming because Reiner has failed so many times and, you know, he never did what they wanted him to do, they're taking his powers away, which ultimately means that they're gonna kill Reiner. So Reiner didn't really necessarily escape death, although I'm imagining he's gonna have to try and run for his life depending on what happened with him, because it's like, yeah, is he gonna just lay down and die and let them take, like, I'm sure Reiner's gonna have to fight for his and try to run, but then again, that might all happen off screen, because this chapter is just like, how do you do this? Like, we're totally just thrown into this whole setting of different characters and a different event, and it just doesn't mesh very well when you're going from sequence to sequence. And that's one of the big things about this chapter, and the problem about it is that it's just so out there that in order to understand, you have to keep reading it over and over, and usually in order to tell a good story, you gotta flow very well. So that's something that's already kind of crazy. But then on top of that, we have all these characters. We have a new Titan that we've seen in this chapter that was fucking diving and shit, and it seems as though they were crippled. The people that we've been fighting against this entire time that's been trying to take us down, and they sent, you know, the Beast Titan and Reiner or whatever, it seems as though them losing what they've lost, losing Annie and losing the Colossal Titan, the powers, the female Titan, Colossal Titan, has fucked them over bad in a way, because now they're weakened, and that's why people are attacking. I'm assuming that they figured, you know, the people they were fighting, like, oh shit, these people, they're weakened now, maybe we can come in. I'm assuming maybe that's how it happened, or it could be vice versa, that these people in general were coming after them. They were like, oh, we need more power, and the group in this chapter were trying to prove themselves again that they're worth something so that they can have these powers passed down. I'm kind of curious, is the Beast Titan power as well going to be passed down? They figured, you know, he failed miserably and they're going to take that away from him too, because now, based on this chapter, seeing the Marley Titan, that big one where he kind of had like the structure of like the armor Titan in his face, but then he had like the hair of the Beast Titan as well. The Marley Titan, it seems as though he's the final piece to the 9 Titans that we have. And let's quickly, I guess, go down the list. We have Eren, the attacker Titan. We have the armor Titan. We have the Colossal Titan. We have the Beast Titan. We have the female Titan. We have that cart looking Titan, the one that's like stretched out or whatever. We have the Marley Titan. Then we had Ymir, which I don't even know what she's classed as or whatever, but we had that Titan. And then I'm assuming the power Titan, the thing that Eren has inside of him to coordinate, I'm assuming that's another Titan separate from things, or is that just not counting and there's actually one more Titan we haven't seen? I think it's safe to say that we know all of the big 9 at this point, all the 9 Titans that, you know, are the strongest and they can shift around or whatever. So I think we have that information. But this chapter, I mean, the characters were pretty cool. The one chick that she was throwing the fucking dynamite and all that shit, I was like, yo, this is kind of cool or whatever, but the context is just like lacking very heavily, because we have to just piece together based on what they're saying. This guy Colt, and you know, a lot of these characters kind of look similar to like some of the other characters we've seen in the past. Like one of them looked kind of like Erwin. I was like, yo bro, Erwin, that's you. Like I was a little bit puzzled as well why these characters look so similar. But then also it's like, we're getting another time skip when we just got a year time skip. Now we're getting, I guess, 3 years after that, assuming that this isn't something that happened in the past. past, but based on all the references we have and all the mentions of, okay, we lost these Titans and, you know, things of that nature, it seems as though potentially this is indeed 4 years after the main timeline, or 3 years after that 1 year time skip we had. So it just feels really bizarre. And it also seems as though that Marley is definitely trying to grab all the power around the world, because they said basically their plans to invade our place, you know, where Eren and all them are on hold right now, and they were going against this union. So they're still planning on doing things, and I'm imagining when we have another big battle, when Eren and, you know, Mikasa and all of them get back on the battlefield, we're gonna be fighting these dudes, and these dudes are kind of crazy. The bitch had the dynamite on her foot, walking there by herself and shit like that. They're nothing to fuck with either, so it's gonna be a good fight in that regard. But yeah, I'm still kind of like, what was this? What are you doing, Attack on Titan, right now? It just seems like, whoa. Another good thing to note is, well, I guess in terms of doing good for, you know, our people, the good people, Eren and them or whatever, is that they're also going to be weakened on top of all this, the Marley, from the fact that they're having this major war against this union, because, you know, war is gonna, of course, bring forth casualties or whatever. So them having this big colossal war, they're gonna lose people, and it's gonna cripple them even further, although it is helping to train some of the people. So there's a good and a bad, because now some of those people that they went in there to prove themselves are gonna be even more beast, and they're going to be even more stronger. So we might actually even see, depending on what's going on with Reiner and the Beast Titan and those people, whatever, we might actually see their powers being passed down. So we could potentially see a female Beast Titan or a female Armored Titan, and, you know, depending on who else they decide to choose, we could see that as well. And it seems as though they were in war for 4 years, so all this time that passed or whatever, they've been at it in war, so they're also going to be tired as well on top of all that. And if we're going to keep on with these time skips, I'm imagining our cast is going to look different yet again, because if there's 4 years in between, like, they already looked a little bit different 1 year after, you know, the events of the manga, but then on top of that, now we have 3 more years, so we're going to have the characters looking kind of older now. If Eren was what, like 15 or 16 in Attack on Titan, so he's probably going to be like 19 at this point. I'm guessing they're going to round it off right there, so Eren's going to be a lot older, so we're going to have a lot of an older cast as well, which is good to, you know, age them wisdom wise. But then you got to think, okay, in these 3 years that have passed since even that 1 year or whatever, what has our cast been doing? Because honestly, that's what this chapter made me really think of, if anything, regarding the fact that there's time skips, because I don't know these characters, and honestly, I don't really care too much. They were kind of cool. There were some cool moments, especially the Marley Titan jumping in and him taking bullets to the face and shit like that. All that is dope, but I was more so thinking about our cast, the cast that I actually give a fuck about. And it's like, yeah, what were they doing these 3 years? Why haven't they tried to make any moves against Marley? Are they just going to be on the defense and they're going to wait it out until they come at them? Or maybe they've been prepping this entire time for a big onslaught of an attack against them, and them being in war right now, they're going to be severely crippled. So it's also making me think, could this manga be shortened even further? Because now that we had this time skip, just immediately them coming in, we're going to have a big brawl. Or could it be that they're expanding even further by adding more of these characters, having this time skip, showcasing that there's more people aside from just the Elodians and the people inside of Paradise Island, I think, or Paradise Island, and the Marley, there's actually, you know, the Union, and there potentially could be more people outside of there, and maybe this could go on even further. Like, this chapter felt almost like I was watching, what's that show? I think it's called MASH or some shit like that, like some old war story. I was like, what? So I guess in essence, this was also to have build up for preparation for a big fight between the Marley and our people, whatever. But yeah, I don't know, like, giving this chapter a score, it's not gonna be that high. Like, honestly, I would say it was maybe a 5 to a 6, because it was just kind of, well, you're throwing us a time skip, and on top of that, you're not explaining really who these characters, I mean, you kind of are, they're Marley people, but they're just no-name characters that we're just seeing for the first time in a manga that has been built up for 90 months, essentially 91 months at that, of chapters. So you have all this build up, and it just kind of felt a little bit like it could have been structured better. I mean, it was cool, I'm not gonna lie. Again, the Marley Titan jumping in, and that chick with the dynamite, and, you know, the war and shit, it's like, yo, if this is a look for what we're gonna have when we actually have our people in there, that's dope. I like that, but still, it's kind of like, what the fuck was going on? Like, yo, am I bugging right now? Or like, is it just me? Like, so I'm kind of curious you guys' thoughts. For starters, do you think that this means that Reiner is indeed on the chopping block? If they're passing down his powers, has he already died? Or they have him in captivity and they're just waiting to pass on those powers? Also, what do you think that means for the Beast Titan? Is he in the same predicament as well? What did you think about these new characters? The chick throwing the dynamite and the Marley Titan. Does this confirm that we have all the known 9 Titans of, you know, power, the shifters? And what did you think overall about the way this was structured? How do you think we're going to see the characters now if it's been even 3 years after that time skip? Are they going to be kind of like adults now? Like, your overall thoughts of all this madness. Were you as confused as I was? Because like reading this chapter, I ain't gonna lie, I read it so many different times and I'm still like, why did he say I'm gonna decide to do it this way? Like, huh? And your overall thoughts. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.